New York Cosmos were the best and worst of what soccer in America was.
We were really the first big pioneers where big stars came to the United States.
L.A., Giorgio Chinaglia, Franz Beckenbauer, Johan Cruyff, Steve Hart, Dennis Stewart, Carlos Alberto.
It was my dream that time to go to play for the New York Cosmos.
I think it was one of the best decisions I ever made.
All of a sudden, in that one summer, summer of 1977, Cosmos took over.
When you saw that stadium with 80,000 people, you know, you almost had an orgasm here. Really.
It was a happening. It was an event. It was unprecedented.
The Cosmos were North America's soccer ambassadors to the world.
I think there was a sense that we're all in on something special. The world sport is finally being birthed right here, right in our midst.
Soccer will be the biggest big league of all.
Goal number 3.
We transcended everything. We were international, we were cool, we were everything to everybody.
The world's most popular sport came to its most powerful nation, in the same way the United States imported many of its people, through the gates at Ellis Island, imported from almost every corner of the world.
This is somewhat the cradle of New York soccer in the early days. Ethnic communities playing soccer on fields like this in and around New York for decades, really.
Hyphenated Americans, we used to call them back then. German Americans, Greek Americans, but never Americans.
From the melting pot came America's first great soccer team.
In 1950, a free-spirited band of Yanks pulled off one of the most stunning upsets in World Cup history.
The World Cup, the Tournament of Nations held every 4 years since 1930, is the global game's ultimate event. The Americans' second match in 1950 was against mighty England, the country where the modern sport was born.
I was just a teenager at that time, but it was a great shock to wake up in the morning to find that England had been knocked out by the United States. You know, we just couldn't believe it.
The winning goal was headed home by Joe Gaetjens, a Haitian living in New York City who made his living as a dishwasher. On the day he became an American hero, he wasn't even a U.S. citizen. It would be 40 years before the U.S. fielded a World Cup team again.
Americans don't have the attention span that people around the world do for watching a sport that is free-flowing and continuous.
Hot smash. Burleson's going to have a long throw. He makes it. That ends the inning. Bottom of the 7th, 5-3, Cincinnati.
In our sports, there are all these artificial stops and starts, which we use to indulge ourselves in beer and Cracker Jacks and whatever.
Football, baseball, basketball, hockey all have natural breaks. I think that people watching soccer for the first time are wondering what's going on. It's just up and down, up and down.
Our football is a game without stopping, a game where you've got to think for yourself, a game what you do with your feet and not with your hands. I mean, all these things are totally different for the American public.
If you really want to get soccer, you have to concentrate on it for the entire 45 minutes. I have sometimes likened it to a play. If you go to a play in the theater, you're going to pay attention to it until the intermission. Then you take a break and talk about it, and then you go sit back down again and watch the entire second act. Soccer's like that. It's not like the other American sports.
It's about tradition. And people in the rest of the world are passionate about soccer. There's no passion in America about soccer.
By the 1960s, there was no passion because there was no soccer.
It was just a country where 99.9% recurring of the population had never heard of it.
There were no youth leagues, no amateur teams, no nothing.
It was an absolute barren country in terms of soccer.
And yet the next great American football club would change the world's game forever.
1, 2, get down!
The phenomenon known as the New York Cosmos would not have happened without the passion of one man.
My father was a big sports fiend. He loved watching football. We went to basketball games all the time. We went to hockey games all the time. And I think the idea of developing a sport from basically scratch in the United States really turned him on.
He was a traveling salesman who became the world's first media titan. Long before Ted Turner and Rupert Murdoch, there was Steve Ross, creator of Warner Communications.
Paid the cost to be the boss.
They owned Warner Brothers Studio, which boasted some of the great film stars of the day, Redford, Streisand, Dustin Hoffman. They owned record companies that featured musicians like Dylan and the Rolling Stones, Ray Charles.
See a bad mother.
He started the first true entertainment empire with comic books and ended up igniting the cable television revolution.
Told you so.
He also bought an arcade game company and helped create the first name in home computing.
He was a genius. In the financial world, he was really unbelievable. And he was also close to Frank Sinatra, by the way, you know, so it was unbelievable.
He was fantastic. He was not only a big businessman, he was very charming, and he was like a father to us.
He had transformed his father-in-law's funeral parlor and a collection of parking lots into a media empire. For Steve Ross, anything seemed possible, even soccer.
It captivated him. Man owned movie studios, man owned 6 record companies, cable, you know.
Paid the cost to be the boss.
Company doing $4, $5, $6 billion a year, and then he's enamored with the going into a locker room.
But for what reason, what purpose was he obsessed with it?